Chapter 1, Part 1, Inception. In the midst of the howling winds, a figure appears out of the vast fog. The figure in question is in a full suit of iron, welded together by the legendary smiths of the South. Their handiwork enchants the armor's durability to all but limitless permanence. The knight approaches steadily, disregarding the shrieks, terrors, or squeals following, stalking their prey in the middle of the thunderstruck woods. The only invigoratingly viable protection within the Silver Knight's reach is his cohort's trustful longsword and dynamically portable shield. The paladin's destination is no other than the dreaded castle of Vlad the Impaler. Merchants and whisperers speak of valuable treasure lost to history, laying dormant for centuries. Yet, it is fortunately unknown whether the fortunes stored away have been raided or not. No one can say for sure, but the inquisitive knight seeks to find the truth or proudly walk away with it. The knight's armor is exquisitely made. The blacksmiths gifted the armor for his chivalrous actions against a band of bandits attacking the outskirts of an undistinguished city. When they realized that his current armor was at its breaking point, no longer effective in receiving attacks from the forlorn enemies, nor defending against savage beasts of the night, they felt obligated to help the miracle cavalier. However, they were afflicted by which array of armor would be esteemed most for the miracle's troubles. When the end of the week was drawing near, the smiths ultimately constructed an armor instead of gifting one. After much blood, sweat, and tears, as well as meaningless fighting and bruising to select who is deserving to build it, they decided to share their strain and struggle to genially build it together. It included a helmet with emblems of the knight's company and kingdom. The chest plate is neither large nor small, forging a dome of emptiness between it and the chest, nor compact, allowing the chest to expand to continue its instinctive intake of crisp, clean air. It is of mediocre looks because an armor piece made for war isn't made for aesthetics. It is made with durability and portability in mind, for the special occasion on which his muscles may give up. The smiths were nice enough to provide a belt of utilities upon which he can store his weaponry, sparing his back from the despair of carrying a sword of a large load, being stowed away to his back after its loyal scabbard was lost on the long, lamenting journey. The erudite smiths forged the new panoply by heating up the previously owned unit until the molten, easily malleable iron could be molded into different desirable shapes, smashing it until it was near earth flat, then repeating the aforestated steps. Until all the impurities have thoroughly disappeared. They started with the trousers, which consisted of the necessitate sabatons and greaves. Thereafter, the sword-deflecting, sword-scraping cuirass for the torso, waist, and abdomen. Subsequently, manifesting the spaulders for the upper body. And lastly, including the arguably most important piece, simply called the helmet. It's important because a body with no head to manipulate it isn't going to do much in battle. All of this being embedded with intricate patterns of angels and still soldiers holding their flamingly salient swords down to the sturdy earth, religious symbolism such as the crucifix and pope, current symbolism such as swords, the crown, and lastly, added out of relevance, the appellation of the suitor on this piece on the heart side of the breastplate, in other words, the knight's name. However, the smiths didn't have the expertise or knowledge for forging swords. That would be the knight's rare luck to journey through the world to find a dignitary swordsmith. Not that the knight cares. He has a newfangled sword, with rich little episodes of scratches, scrapes, and dullness running throughout it. However, even though it's contemporary, he can always use a whetstone to refine the blunted edges until it's been blundered. All he can recall is lifting it from his previous encounter with some provokers. The knight's code of conduct is to fight everything and anything that elicits similar actions. To be the last man standing in the battleground, even if his muscle fibers are firing away, pain signals demanding the cease of the painstaking maneuvers he could be performing, and to always hone his skills so as not to be overwhelmed when battling new types of enemies. The knight will never rest nor take a break in the heat of battle, for it will break his long-held discipline. He doesn't have the guts to break it anyway, as he had swore to someone he had great appreciation for, which he will hate to betray their unwritten pact. The knight continues forward on foot, helm relaxing on his chest, intertwined with a rope to his armor for better accessibility in case of a fight. The smiths added this feature because adventurers complained of holding their helmets days long. Bitter features compose his sullen face. The supposed companion that should have driven him on to the required destination of the journey, the horse, didn't make the full journey as they had initially hoped. He had built up quite the friendships on the expedition, but as always, nice things don't last forever. He had set up a camp 2 moons ago. That was the unfortunate day where his accumulated fatigue resulted in him sleeping through the nightmarish howls of wolves. In the morning, after leaving the false comfort of makeshift home, the cave he buried in for that night, he discovers the gruesome end of his only friend. Filled with rage, he promises to avenge his fallen comrade. He goes to hunt the predators in question. The phrase, "the hunter becomes the hunted," takes a new form in the heart of the night, but to no avail. They had escaped his wrath. Afterwards, out of respect for the horse's potential, competence, and haste, he buried the remains as he would with another human being.